my grandfather was Claude. My grandmother Ethel was a traditional homemaker. She was more of the standard wife type. She took care of home, didn't really work her whole life. She was basically a housewife. And my grandfather Claude was a musician. I don't know a little bit. I don't know a lot about them, so I don't know like when they were born or anything like that. But both of them are deceased.
Okay. Now, regarding your parents, we didn't talk about their siblings. So tell, does your mom have siblings?
Yeah, my mom has two brothers. Her older brother is Ray. He was addicted to drugs, from what I heard, and he overdosed 7 years ago.
Okay. Did you have a relationship with your Uncle Ray?
My uncle Ray was the fun one. Like he loved to play music. He loved to drink. He loved to just have a good time. He was the fun uncle.
Okay.
Always took us to the store to buy us candy and chips and things like that. I don't think I've ever seen my uncle Ray mad a day in my life anyway. Never
Okay.
saw him upset or anything.
And tell me about your other uncle. You said your
My uncle Andrew. He is a wealthy real estate agent who only really comes around the family um, during the holidays. He'll bring us like money for Christmas, not since we are older, but he was the one that would just bring us money for Christmas, and we see him on Thanksgiving, and that was practically it.
okay. Now let's talk a
Um,
little bit about your family background. Where is your family originally from? Where are all you guys raised in the same area?
Yeah, we're all from New Orleans. All of us are out the Ninth Ward. I've heard my great grandparents. I think they were born like in Alexandria, Louisiana, and kind of migrated to New Orleans. I guess because this was more city and they had more job opportunities.
Okay. And do you know, have any knowledge of your great grandparents on your mom or dad's side?
I know their names only. I don't really know anything about them. I know that my mother's uh, grandparents um, were, I think they died in a car accident together. I think they were like 21 at the time, from what I've heard. And then my dad's parents, um, his mom passed while she gave birth to him. And then my grandfather, I'm sorry. And then his dad kind of disappeared when he was born. So we don't know any information about him, whether he's deceased or anything, or
Okay.
when he died.
Tell me about any religious or spiritual orientations of your family.
Everyone in the family is Baptist or Christian, or the only person who is not of that religion would be my maternal grandmother, um, Bertha. She is Jehovah Witness.
Okay. So would you say your family has a strong spiritual background?
Yeah, we always went to church, no matter how we felt, if we were tired, or we went to church just about every Sunday.
Okay. Tell me a little bit about the roles in your family. So we talked about your mom being, you felt that she gave a lot of time to work, but that when she came home, she suffered from some depression issues. So growing up, what was the role in the household? What role did your dad play? What role did your mom play?
Um, my dad was the cook.
Okay.
When he retired, he was the one who cooked and cleaned. My mom just made the money basically.
Okay. So would you say your father was more of the caretaker and your mom more of the provider, financial source?
Definitely.
Okay.
Yeah.
And the birth order for you and your siblings, where did you fall in the birth order between you and your brother and your sister that passed?
I'm in the middle. So my
Okay.
brother is the oldest, and then it's myself, and then she was the baby.
Okay. And where does your half sister fall in that? The one that you don't
She
have?
is She's a year after the one that passed away.
Would you tell me a little bit about any possible traumatic or untimely deaths through your family history? I know you
Um,
talked
it,
about your sister.
it would definitely be her. Nobody was expecting it. From what I can remember, we were at the park playing, spinning around on a little thing at the park. And once we got off, she complained of a headache
Mhm.
and or being dizzy. My mom, I guess, said she was just dizzy. So when she complained of a headache, my mom got her to get some water, and she still didn't feel good that night. And so they took her to the emergency room, and that's when they found out she had a brain tumor.
Did you notice the family dynamics? Did it change at all once the family received that news?
Definitely. Like I said, my grandmother Bertha she's really controlling. So
Mhm.
she was the one trying to tell my parents what they should or shouldn't do, what hospitals Mia should go to, or what doctor she should see, or she had her hands in it too much, and it started to drift my parents apart, more or less. And I noticed my mom would just cry every day.
Mhm.
My dad would drink more, and that's when they started sleeping in two separate rooms. They were still married, still lived in the same house, but they would sleep in two separate rooms.
During that time, who was your source? Who would you go to, being that your little sister was sick, but you were still a child yourself? Was there someone you
Um,
could say who was there for you?
Me and Michael Jr. kind of stuck together during that time.
Right now, are you experiencing any stressors or any job problems right now?
No, I work at a local hospital in the financial department. It's not really a stressful job at all. Um, if I have to go to the doctor or anything like that, like I don't have a problem with having time off, or um, I really have a work life balance. It's just the feeling of every day going to work, coming home to an empty house for 28 days out of the week, my husband not being there. And then it's when he's there for the week, it feels weird because for the other days out of the month, I've been there by myself. So if it's one dish in the sink or it's one thing out of place, we're getting into an argument.
Okay. Is there a time where you've cut off any family relationships and not spoken or not dealt with anyone?
I did stop talking to my mom. Like I said, we got into altercation, and that's where a lot of it came out. And right now, to this day, like we don't really talk a lot.
Okay. What would you say would be the quality of your relationship with your father?
Me and my father talk all the time. We text all the time. He makes sure at least probably once or twice a week we try to have lunch or maybe dinner or something. I guess because he knows that I'm home by myself. Me and him still have a close relationship, so I feel like I can talk to my dad about anything, but I'm not really talking to my mom at the moment.
Okay. Do you know if anyone else in the family experienced any type of physical, sexual abuse? I know you told me about the physical abuse with Michael Jr., and that you don't have a relationship with your half sister, so you wouldn't know that. But even if we think on the terms of your dad or your mom or even your grandparents, are there any stories or anything that you may know about them experiencing any type of abuse?
Not really in my family. I have heard just overhearing in conversation that my uncle Andrew, which is my mom's brother, the oldest one, who I said was the real estate agent, they said that he sexually abused some cousins, but I don't have any personal knowledge of that.
Okay. So I'll ask you a question. If you had to name who are the good ones in your family, who would you say are the good ones?
It would my first choice would definitely be my Uncle Ray. Like I said, he was my favorite uncle. He was the fun uncle. Um, and I just miss him so much. My brother Michael, we're pretty close. Like I said, we don't see each other that often, but when we do, it's always a good time. And then me and my dad are real close.
Okay. And who would you say would be the bad ones in your family?
It would definitely be my mom and my grandmother, her mom.
Who would you say are um, the ones who are most misunderstood?
Mm, I think it would probably be um, probably my grandfather, my grandfather Larry. Even though they said he was a habitual cheater or the bad things they said about him, I just think he was misunderstood. Like he was always nice to the grandchildren. Um, we never saw him get mean or anything. We would always see him drunk, but never mean.
What would you say for your family? What is the source of hope for your family? Is there one?
Right now, I don't think there's a source of hope.
Okay. Who would you say in your family is the most resilient?
Um, I guess I would have to say my mom, even though she lost a child, um, she was able to keep pushing and working. Her kids and her classes never saw a bad day with her. It was always once she clocked out and came home.
Okay. And so I'll say some of your family members' names, and I'd like for you to tell me two words to describe that person. Okay.
Okay.
Sean, your husband.
Um, he's caring and sweet. I would say that he's caring and sweet.
Michael Jr.
Michael Jr. is he's strong and he's free spirited.
Chantel, yourself.
Um, I would say that I am um I would say that I am pretty resilient. Um, yet misunderstood probably.
Okay. Your mom, Melanie.
Um, she's definitely resilient. Um, but she is reserved.
Um, Leonard, your father, your grandfather.
Um, my grandfather Larry, he is he's fun yet quiet,
Okay. And tell me about two words to describe Bertha.
controlling and controlling.
Okay. Well, thank you, Chantel, for your time. What I'll do when we have our next session, the information that we've gathered today that'll help me put together the genogram that'll basically help us move along through this will help me for your assessment and move forward to see what type of treatment we'll move forward towards. Okay. So I'll be in
Okay.
touch. Do you have any other questions
One
for me?
one thing I did forget to mention,
Hmm.
my grandfather's his dad, I believe he died from congenital heart failure.
Okay.
I do remember that. But I'm just curious to see what you come up with, and I can't wait for us to talk again to see what you come up with.
That's so great. Thank you for your time. Okay.
All right, thank you.